Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia. Press the like button. And this is the summary for the day of 679 for the 3rd of January. Let's start off with there is some frontline changes. You will know when we get there. In the southern front, the Ukrainian forces continue to have their beachhead over at Krinky. And according to Deep State UA, the information posted by them says that they managed to improve their tactical position somehow. So despite all the bombardment by the Russians, the Ukrainians seems to be able to maybe grow up a bit, grow out of this and place a bit, maybe towards the tree lines, into the forest, perhaps is that. But according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, which is the official information from Ukraine, they still say that the Russians are conducting assault operations. So we shall see how this goes. The Russians assault every day, but Ukrainians have better tactical position. So interesting. There's a geolocation of a Ukrainian boat getting destroyed by a FPV drone, probably dropping a grenade or mortar. And further away, the Lancet was geolocated by Kreminna Front to hit another artillery system of the Ukrainians. So the Lancet hunts continued over in the Kherson Front. We move into the Zaporizhzhia Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, this is Zaporizhzhia city. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, on the Kupyansk region, there is a shelling or attack reported by the Russian Defense Ministry on the Ukrainian forces at Lyanivsky. This is a bit far from the front line, it's probably not very important. Over at the Avdiivka sector itself, the Russian forces continue their counteroffensive with fighting reported towards Robotine in the western part of Verbove, around Verbove, northwest of Verbove. And there is also geolocation of a Russian, I think it's a BMP or something, firing into a tree line at this position, marking where the front line is, which is along this tree line. However, this tree line was previously believed to be captured by the Russian forces, but now Ukrainian forces is now geolocated to be there, which means the gray zone comes back again to this area here. So this is the strategic situation over at the Avdiivka sector. We move on away. They're over into the Novosibirsk sector. In this sector, the Ukrainian forces was reported by the Russian Defense Ministry to be attacking Prione. So the situation here continues to be a bit weird, where there is fighting being reported since the new year, and then we still don't really know exactly what's happening. We move on into the Donetsk Front. This is the Donetsk Front. Donetsk city is over here. At the Donetsk Front, we have fighting reported at Novomikhailivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. But this was not really reported by any Russian sources. It could be just artillery shelling or whatnot. But there is a geolocation of Russian columns of armored vehicles northwest of Novomikhailivka at this position. So I wonder if it was a Russian attack in this direction, and the Ukrainian Defense Ministry report as fighting at Novomikhailivka. Over at the Marinka region, there is no longer Marinka, in the sense that the fighting is now not reported at Marinka. It's now fighting to be reported at Kyohivka. And here, this time around, Ukrainian Defense Ministry and Deep State UA both acknowledge that fighting is now at Kyohivka. So the Russians are continuing pushing in this area here, and there is some slight changes in terms of the front line in this area here, but otherwise the Russians are continuing their push out of Marinka towards Kyohivka. So let's see how this progress. I believe that it's going to be very, very slow, as the Ukrainians are very good at defending. Over in the Avdiivka Front, this is the Avdiivka Front in the north of the Donetsk city. Russian forces continue their Avdiivka offensive with fighting reported in the area of Novobakhmutivka towards Bedaichi, Stepove, in Avdiivka, Zhevene, Pervomaisky, and Nevelsky. So this the strategic situation of significance was the frontline change in Pervomaisky. There is a sudden geolocation of Russian forces right at this edge of this damp or lake region. Russian so the Russian forces is shot by Ukrainian FPV drone. This actually also surprised the Deep State UA, and the Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, also changed the mapping as a result of this sudden appearance of Russian forces in this area here, causing the Ukrainians a confirmed position to be actually break into two, whereas this area it was considered gray zone, which is very unusual. So we shall continue to monitor. I suspect that the Ukrainians is not even here anymore. This entire area has been captured by the Russian forces, with the Russian forces have already progressed through this entire area. Because we do need to note that the fighting at Pervomaisky has been reported continuously on the daily basis since the 5th of December all the way to today. So the likelihood that the Russian forces have progressed all this way to this point is actually highly plausible. So this is very important to note, because all intelligence are incomplete. There is no such thing as a complete intelligence. So this is something that maybe people who are not in intel never understand, is that you can never have complete intelligence. So you can only get as good as you can. So this is as good as we can, and so information suddenly appear showing that how much everyone do not know. So otherwise there is not much information around this area here. So Deep State UA did did say that the Russians continue to be attacking Stepove on a daily basis, whereas they have this super Bradley tank, Bradley armored vehicle that was doing professional work according to them. So they say that this armored vehicle did incredible things. So I believe, because I also did incredible things on the Bradley when I was playing Battlefield, and I think that I'm the best Bradley driver. Yeah. Anyway, there is also fighting reported towards Vidaichi. So I believe that the general plan remains as what I have said. I believe this the Stepove area is just a positional war, whereas the main maneuver is actually in towards Vidaichi. But no, like I said, this is going to take a long time to develop. We shall continue to wait and see. What is interesting is just the appearance of fighting being reported as Giverny, as this have not been reported to be a fighting region for some time. The last report was on the 29th of December. Now that's around 4 to 5, maybe 5 days. So there's a bit of time since we saw fighting in this area here. We move on away. There's nothing at the New York front. We move into the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front in the southern flank, fighting it continues in this area here, with the Russians continuing their Bakhmut offensive. We're fighting reported Andriivka, Zelenopil, Kodyomivka, Klishevka in the north of Klishevka in the high ground region. So particularly interesting is the one at Zelenopil. This is new, as I have reported in the quick update. So there is a geolocation of Ukrainian forces in this area here. So nothing very particularly special about that. That is already part of our front line. So further up north in the northern flank, we have the Russian forces attacking towards Ivanivsky in the area of Kromove in the south of Bodanivka, in the Bodanivka region, with Ukrainian forces counterattacking over at Bodanivka, and various geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting attacked in these positions where the front line is probably happening. So I mean the battles are currently happening. So these are the things. And so further up north, there's something very interesting, is the fighting reported at Sakoivaseti. So this is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry, and so there is we haven't seen a fighting reporter here since before August. So this is actually very, very interesting. We are not sure where the Russians are attacking, towards in the north or towards Vasyutikivka region or towards Bezeno region. Or towards Fedorivka region, it is unclear. We shall continue to wait and see if this develops into a serious assault offensive or assault operation. We move into Sivas. There's nothing over at the Sivas front, into the Kreminna Front. This is Kreminna city, and this is the Kreminna Front. At the Kreminna Front, the Russian forces are the one only attacking. They'll be fighting reported at the Serebransky Forestry in the Dibrova region in the east of TERNY, and there is the Russian Defense Ministry mentioned in their report yesterday that they destroyed 3 Leopard tanks close to TERNY. So while you can doubt whether this is true or not, what is important to note is that there is at least 3 Leopard tanks being deployed at TERNY. That's quite a bit of the most valuable tanks the Ukrainians have. Among the most valuable tanks, of course, they have Challenger, they have Abrams, but I think this Challenger and Abrams is just for for show. They are not meant for frontline action because we don't see them in the front line. We only see Leopard 2s and Leopard 1s in the front line, and the Leopard 2s are particularly important and precious. So having at least 3 being deployed at TERNY, with one of them being already geolocated yesterday to be destroyed clearly due to video footage proof, shows that the Ukrainians values this area here extremely important. So TERNY is a priority defensive position that the Ukrainians must hold. That's why they are sending so much into this area here to make sure that TERNY and Yapolivka do not fall. I think this is the most important note when we talk about Russian defense ministry say that they destroyed 3 Leopard tanks. You don't believe, and I probably not too sure what to believe, but that only shows the importance of TERNY to the Ukrainians. So this is the point I want to make. We move on. There's nothing over at the Sviatove front. We move into the Kupyansk Front. This is the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, Russian forces is being reported to be fighting at Sinkivka as usual, but this time around they're fighting south of Vyshana as well as the eastern part of Petropolivka. So Ukrainians are counterattacking over the west of Sinkivka around the Liman Lake region. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by FPV drones is reported at Petropolivka at this position. So generally, this is the strategic situation at the Kupyansk Front. Largely not much difference. So we shall continue to wait and see how this progress. There's nothing at the Kharkiv front, and that's it. This is the summary for the day of 679 for the 3rd of January. Press the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next update.